Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend and you're not getting pounded by snow. If you're out northeast, that's probably what's happening to you right now. So good luck to you. So we got a jam-packed call today. First thing I want to remind you is you are now receiving these 5-minute money makers on Wednesday. And so please, if you're not getting these 5-minute, and this is what it should look like. If you're not getting these, check your junk mail or your spam mail and add us to the safe sender list. So, or if you're still having problems, contact Tricia and she'll do her best to help you out. Now, this is what's going to help us get 2% better every week. And whatever, for those of you that remember, if we get 2% better every week, how much more will we write by the end of the year? What percentage? If we get 2% better every week, how much more as a percentage will we write by the end of the year? Not 100. Remember, we're compounding. Boy, you guys are financial planners, man. No, it's not, guys, it's compounding. So it's not 104. It's compounding. Yeah, it's off the charts. It's 300%. You'll increase by 300%. It's kind of like if you talk to your kid and say, hey, would you rather have $10,000 or a penny a day doubled each day for a month? Which one would you rather have? You're going to want the penny doubled a day because you end up with over $1 million by the end of the year. So what you want is to be compounding. And if you work every single week at getting 2% better, you don't lose that. So you're actually getting better on your better and better on your better on your better and better on your better and better. And that's why my income went up the way that it did. So what would I tell somebody who said they didn't have 15 minutes every day to do their most important 15-minute drill? What would I tell somebody who doesn't have time to do their 5-minute moneymaker? What would I tell somebody who doesn't have their 5 minutes to do the 5Q breakdown that we send to you every Thursday? Which, again, if you're not receiving, check your junk mail. We've been doing it now for 3 weeks. So, guys, I'm asking you for how much time here? 20 minutes maintenance time, or I guess 20, was it 15 and 5 and 5? 25 minutes maintenance time every single day to get triple your income. If you tell me you don't have time for it, that's a bunch of what? If you know what, truly, if you don't have time for it, give me a call and let's really discuss how you're spending your day. Because you know what? Can there be any better way spent than improving your skills in a particular day? Even closing a big case. Hey, I love closing big cases, but think about it. Improving your skills, or why is improving your skills even more important than closing a big case? Why? Why is it important? Why is it important? More important than closing a big case? Guys, I got one answer. If you don't understand this, it's more than one case. Yes. What it's going to do is allow you to close an even bigger case when? Tomorrow. And it's going to allow you to close more cases tomorrow. So don't skip these things. Okay? If you're going to skip them, because we can see if you're looking at these, if we're going to skip them, I'll quit doing them, okay? Because I'm not doing it for fun. I mean, you can talk to Missy and Tricia, I spend a significant amount of time doing these things. It takes you 5 minutes to look at it. It takes me 3 hours to create it. So you need to be doing these things, okay? So please look for the 5-minute moneymaker every Wednesday and the 5Q breakdown every Thursday. I'm doing these things to help you get better. And you told me you didn't want them. The vast majority, you told me you didn't want to do an hour on Friday. So have I increased or decreased your time commitment? So don't be the entity that will take it. I give them an inch and they take a mile, okay? So be doing these two things. Wednesday's 5-minute moneymaker, Thursday's 5Q breakdown, okay? Now, how do we handle, a lot of you guys are, when I'm listening to your tapes, and thank you again for the guys who are sending in tapes, when we hear the client say something wrong, You're not handling that right. If we tell a client they're wrong once, it's not a big problem. You tell them they're wrong twice, all of a sudden we start to have a problem. You tell them they're wrong more than twice, we start to have something happen. And what do you think that thing, well, one of two things can happen. So if you tell somebody they're wrong 2, 3, 4 times, correct them 2, 3, 4 times, you think you're helping them? Yeah, that's one, Mark. The client shuts down and quits talking. What's another thing that can happen? They get mad, right, Mark? They either get mad, start pushing back, or they just quit talking to you. So how do you handle it when they say something wrong? Well, here's the template. They give you a wrong answer. First thing you do is agree with them. You agree with the wrong answer. Then I'm going to say, that's what I thought. And then I'm going to give them 3 reasons why I thought that. I can't just say, that's what I thought, and then I found out, blah, blah, blah. No. I have to explain to them why the answer they gave was smart. So I agree with them. I say, that's what I thought. And then I give them 3 reasons why the answer they gave me was a smart answer. Why would I do that, guys? Why would I tell them the answer they gave me was a smart answer before I have them discover the right answer? Because essentially, what am I telling them? That they're right or they're wrong? What am I telling them? I'm building them up, right, Mike? I'm telling them they're right before I have them discover it. Don't want to make them feel bad, right, Mark? Then I'm going to ask them small questions for them to discover for themselves the correct answer. So I agree. That's what I thought. Then I'm going to give them 3 reasons why they're right, and then I'm going to ask small questions for them to discover the correct answer. So and then I'm going to give them credit for the right answer. So it seems like all along that who gave me the right answer? Them. Okay? So let's look at this. Sometimes during the power of attorney, you'll say, if you don't ask that question right about, hey, I'm hit by the bus, I go up to the pearly gates, what document would I need? They'll say the power of attorney. So they'll get that mixed up. So again, the way you make sure that doesn't happen is you lay it out there. Hey, so if I'm hit by the bus, I go to the pearly gates. You know, what document, what legal document? We just talked about it here a couple of minutes ago. One of 2 documents, you know, where my executor or my trustee would use that document so that when I'm passed away, when I'm at that pearly gates, the trustee or the executor would actually use that document to have my assets divvied up correctly to my loved ones. Now, when I ask the question that way, how many people are going to get that wrong? How much information did I put in there about trustees, executive, trustee, executive? We just talked about it a couple of minutes ago, and they're going to use that document to divvy up my assets and make sure everybody gets right. How much information did I pack into that question so that anybody walking in off the street would get that right? That's the appropriate way to ask that question if you don't want them to get it wrong. But if, yeah, I gave them everything, Perry, except the actual word. But if I make a mistake and take a shortcut, and they give me the wrong answer, let's go back and look at that. So I'm going to go back here so you can see what's happening. Oops. Okay, so Jeff, if I'm hit by the bus and I go up to the pearly gates, I'm going to do this wrong, guys, just so to give Jeff the opportunity to give me a wrong answer. So if I'm up at the pearly gates, what document do I need at that point?
Well, then you need your power of attorney.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's what I thought, because it's a legal document. It appoints somebody to take care of my affairs when I'm not able to get them. You know, I got it when I went to the attorney for the very reason that that I told him I need legal documents to handle all of my affairs when I'm not able to. So that's exactly right. And when we think about it, when I went to that attorney, Jeff, when I went to the attorney, did he do one document or lots of documents?
He did a few.
Yeah, he did a few, right? and of course, I got charged for all of them. But he did tell me that all of them were for the same exact reason, or he said we need all these things because there were different reasons.
They were different.
Yeah, so each document has a different what?
A different purpose.
Different purpose, yeah, exactly right. So, you know, we just talked about 2 of them, the trust and the will, and we said that those are when those are for when I'm alive or when I've passed away.
No, when you're passed away.
Yeah, when I passed away. So if the bus hits me, I'm up at the pearly gates, we've got all sorts of legal documents. The two that I would need at that point, because I passed away, are which two?
The trust and the will.
Yeah. Now, instead, if I'm not passed away, but I'm still alive, but I can't take care of my affairs, so somebody else has to do them, then I've hopefully signed a document early on when I was at the attorney with all those documents. And of course, it's not the will and the trust because, those are when I'm dead. But we did sign another document, and again, we just talked about that here about 30 seconds, 40 seconds ago, that I use if I'm incapacitated, still alive, incapacitated, but can't handle my own legal or financial affairs. What legal document do I need then? So instead of the will and trust when I'm dead, I need the what?
The power of attorney.
So you got it. That's exactly right. So I need you nailed it. When I'm dead, I need the trust and the will, and when I'm alive but can't take care of my affairs, I need the what?
The power of attorney.
You got it. So, well, Jeff, so let's see some answer to this. Did I ever correct Jeff there? Would he have ever thought I corrected him? But is he clear now on the right answer? So that's what you want to do if they answer wrong. Now, here's the thing. How many times do I want to jump through these hoops? It's important that I do jump through these hoops if I have to. But if I find that I've had to do this 3 times in 5 minutes, there's a clue there that I should what? Make sure my questions are what? Easier. Because I don't want him to answer the wrong question. So what I'm going to do is say, you know what? Apparently I'm taking too many shortcuts here. I have to make sure my questions are easier so that I don't have to correct them. So he gets them right the first time. I need to pack them all full of information so that he can't answer that question wrong. Does that make sense? So Missy, where did we put this template so guys can look at it?
It hasn't been put out there yet because
Okay.
I'm still trying to get it on those new pages. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we forgot that. I forgot that you said that it was a little more complicated than I thought. So good. But you guys can write these down. Go back to the coaching call when we're done and get this down. Because how important do you think this skill is? This is a high-level skill, but how important do you think this is? Because if people either start to push back at you because you tell them they're wrong or it won't answer any of your questions, guess what's just happened to your closing ratio? Gotten killed. It's gotten killed. So learn how to do this. Make sense? Okay. So that's an example of how to do the power of the will. And then Jerry was excited to talk to us about a new product or change in a product. So Jerry, can you fill us in on what's going on with that?
Yeah, good morning. So every now and again, F&G will put a multi-year guaranteed rate annuity special on. So it's that time of the year here. So on November 28th, F&G is going to have a 5-year MIGA special at 3.1%. So that's a pretty phenomenal number right now at this time. I think most products at that 5-year rate are around 2.5 right now, but they're going to do 3.1% for 5 years. It's a limited time distribution promotion, so just to kind of keep in mind, it's starting November 28th. I've seen specials with them go, there's no ending date. They didn't tell us that it's going to be a month, so it could be literally a week and a half. It could be 1 month. I don't know how long it will actually last. It depends on how quickly they get the premium in for it. So it's 3.1%, and there is a couple of, and feel free to give Jeff or myself or Jeb a call afterwards if you have any questions. But there's a couple little notes to keep in mind. It's not a 10% free withdrawal product. It's interest only, so they can only peel the interest off, which isn't a bad thing. There is systematic withdrawals on it. There's a $20,000 minimum premium. There's just a handful of states that it's not available in. You can give us a call. We'll fill you in on that. But the important detail, along with that 3.1, is part of the special. If you want that, it has to be an electronic application. So F&G on their website, you have to log in and take the application online. There is no paper application. Part of that special is the online application. So what that means is, being this is a limited time promotion, and it's an online application. The nice thing about online apps is it prevents you from ever getting not in good orders or NIGOs. However, you can't take the application until you're actually appointed. So I know sometimes guys will, go on, do their licensing, and then they'll take an app and then just wait a little bit before they date it. You can't do that with this. Unless you're appointed and you have your product training done, you will not be able to take an application, and it has to be an online app. So 3.1% with F&G starting on November 28th. Great MIGA rate. If you have any questions, give us a call. That's it.
Cool. Thanks, Jerry.
Guys.
So the rest of the call, we're going to talk about estate planning for our wheelhouse folks. So are we dealing with a lot of guys, with our system, are we dealing with a lot of clients that have over $5 million, or if they're a married couple, over $10 million? Is that what our system is designed to do? No. I don't want to work with those guys. I don't want to work with those guys because you're against a heavy hitter advisors when you do that. I love working with people with $100,000 to $3, $4, or $5 million of assets. The reason being is because with those people, guess how many of those advisors that take care of those people are doing what we do? And we've looked at probably, again, 50,000 in our archives, but 60, 70,000 actual meetings held. How many advisors do what we do? None. But when you get to the $10 million amount, now you get some. It's even amazing. Even at that level, many advisors don't do what we do, but you start running into more of them that do that. So I don't want to even run into any of them. That's why we stick to the lower level. So the main people we work with are those people with $100,000 to $3, $4, $5 million to invest. So that's right. They have teams, and we don't want to go up against those teams, Mark. So the baby boomers are the people now that are going into that we're primarily working with instead of the greatest generation. And the baby boomers have experienced many more things than the greatest generation experienced a lot of things, but the baby boomers experienced a lot of different things that the greatest generation did. So one of the things that they realize is especially through their parents, that people can live a long time, and with living a long time, there becomes what? Good things and what? Problems. So they're more attuned to these things that can happen with estate planning. And again, are there a few baby boomers turning 65 every day, or are there a gazillion turning 65? I mean, there's 10,000 every single day. That's a lot of people per year. And as we talked about earlier, you're in the right place at the right time, because as more and more advisors get out of the business, there's more and more need for advisors, because these people are retiring, and they have a lot of questions that they don't know the answers to. And the thing is that they like to organize their life. They like to be prepared. Their parents didn't do that. The parents kind of, the greatest generation guys, did you find a lot of them want to talk about estate planning, want to do those things, or they were pretty fatalistic about, when I die, I die? Let's get some answers to that. Nobody's answering. Well, I'll tell you. There we go. Getting a lot of the greatest generation was just more about, when I die, I die. Things will take care of themselves. They just didn't like to talk about this kind of stuff. But the boomers, it's all about me. It's all about me. So they do like to talk about this stuff. So when should you plan? I love this graphic. When should you plan your estate? So here's your timeline. Today, until you lose mental capacity. So today you can actually be using your revocable living trust from today going forward. Mental capacity is when you're going to need a durable poverty advanced direction. You need to get it done beforehand. And then at death is when you need the will. So, when's there opportunity to plan? It's before anything bad happens. So, here's a riddle for you, see if anybody can get it. If I have it, I don't share it. If I share it, I don't have it. What is it? If I have it, I don't share it. If I share it, I don't have it. What is it? Anybody know? Oh, that's privacy would work. The riddle answer is actually a secret. Very good, Dale, secret. So the reason I bring that up is with how we fix the power of attorney, do we ever send the client back to the attorney? No, you're right. No, we're getting a lot of no's. Why don't we send them back to the attorney? mean, if they actually need an attorney, we're going to send them to an attorney. They actually need an attorney, we're going to send them to an attorney, but most times they don't need an attorney. So why don't we want to send them back to the attorney? Delays, I'd agree with that. There's a much bigger reason than that, though. Guys, where do attorneys get most of their clients? Where do estate planning attorneys get most of their clients? From advisors. So if we start explaining what we do, right, Keith? If we explain to them what we're doing, who are they with the power of attorney? Because do we know more or less about power of attorney than attorneys do? We know more. So if we start sharing this information with the attorney, what might he start to do? Share it with our competition. Then what's happened to our leverage? Goes away. So don't do this. So power of attorney is one of the big things we do for our clients, and we fix. How many of our clients need help with their power of attorney? How many of our clients' powers of attorney are broken? Perry's got it. Jerry's got it. No, David, not 99.9%. How many, guys? Everybody else is getting it. All of them need help. Why? Well, we'll talk about that here. First of all, how many of them have their powers of attorney electronically filed? That's right. It's impossible, Mike, to have a perfect power of attorney. Yeah, so very, very few have their documents electronically filed. And as you all know, we have to send them online to get certain documents. Because without those documents attached as an addendum to their power of attorney, will they be able to get money when they need it most? No. So if this is confusing to any of you, you need to revisit the manual, the perfect power, what POA, what's the perfect fix? So if we go to part 3 here, go down here, POA, what is the perfect fix? Go and refamiliarize yourself with this manual, okay? And it will tell you why. Guys, would I be comfortable going on national TV, on prime time, with the biggest view, right before the debates, so I've got 100 million people watching it, in front of the Supreme Court, in front of the best estate planning attorney in the world, and looking at the power of attorney and saying, listen, I'll bet my house, my firstborn, and all of my money that document will not help people when they need the money most. Would I be comfortable doing that without any fear, without even raising my blood pressure one iota? Yeah, because I'm 100% right. Why? Well, read that manual and you know why you're right. And if you don't know that, you're missing a huge opportunity. So make sure you go, part 3, power of attorney, POA, what is the perfect fix? Because that is a huge leverage point that we use. Make sense? So let me go back here. I think, okay, here we go. Second thing we're doing for them at probate, we make sure that their will is working. And, one of the things you can look at for their will is, do they have a pour-over will, which is going to help them. Why would you need a pour-over will? Well, it's going to direct certain assets to transfer to a trust when the owner of those assets dies. And since a pour-over will and related trust documents are private, and it means relatives can't go down and look at them. And there's other reasons for that as well. This may not be, again, what is the federal estate tax for, what's the, as a single person, where's the federal estate tax kick in? What level? Yeah, 5.435, 5.5 per person, and it doubles if you're a couple, right? So, but here's the thing that some of us need to be aware of. Because in Minnesota, guess where it kicked in for me? 1.4 million. So the federal doesn't go after you, but guess who does? The state, and they take 9 to 16% of that money. Look at all of these states. So these are all states where they have state inheritance tax. So if you're in any of these states, do you now need to be worried about estate planning for your clients? Yes, you do. Okay, so if you're not in these states, don't worry about it. But if you're in these states, you need to be worrying about estate planning. One of the ways you do it with a disclaimer, trust. Okay, so, and I'm not going to go into how you do all these things, but I'm just showing you there are solutions for all of these things, okay? The other thing we need to worry about is what? Long-term care. So you can see what your long-term care is going to cost depending on your state. So there's a bunch of states, and there's the rest of the states. Essentially, it's going to be a lot or a little. Looks like it's anywhere between $36,000 and $60,000 a year. So $65,000 a year. So that's a lot. So right now they're estimating that retirement health care costs for a 55-year-old couple retiring in 10 years will be $463,000 out of pocket. Now, many of our clients, guess what? Many of our clients, what does this number represent? So this is out of pocket. This is what will not be covered by Medicare. For a lot of people, this 463 is basically, bankruptcy is what it represents. Everything. So should we be helping people talk about this? Yes. But the way we do it is with the one-way presentation, right? You do the one-way presentation, which allows people to protect themselves from long-term care, and do they have to pay expensive annual premiums? No. And if that's confusing to you, you need to go to where? Go to the implementation meeting and go to the one-way presentation. Okay? That will walk you through how we can tell people that we can make sure that they'll have enough money for long-term care without expensive premiums. Make sense? So make sure this is something that we should or should not be talking with people about. We should. Should we do it during the initial selling process before we bring them on as a client? No. Why? Anything that requires underwriting should be done before they're a client or after they're a client and move their money to us. After. Always, 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 always after. So this is something you would visit with them maybe 6 months down the line after they become a client. Make sense? Individual retirement accounts. So making sure that they can actually stretch the account. This is a wonderful document. So we should maybe, Tricia, ask me where I got this document, and then we should have this for the guys, because it's a great flow chart on how IRAs work. Now, is this something you're going to share with your clients, dudes? Would this graphic be something you should know? Right, no, Steve, no, Brad. No, this is for you to keep it clear in your head, the best way to help somebody with their IRA, because IRAs are viewed to be very simple. Now, here's the great thing about this. With this chart here, guess how easy it would be during the beneficiary portion of your, so Jeff Freeberg, do you think that we'd ever run, using this chart here, do you think we'd ever run into a beneficiary discussion that we couldn't have the client learn something about their beneficiaries that they weren't aware of and panic about it?
Oh, yeah, you could use, this would show you all the scenarios where something unforeseen could happen.
So if you have a client who does not have children, guess what? We can use this chart to figure out, and then we're going to look at how they have their beneficiaries set up, and we can use this chart to help them determine, wow, it's not doing what I thought it was supposed to do, and oh, that's going to cause huge problems to me. So let me ask you a question, guys. Is there ever a client we'd run across that we wouldn't use the beneficiary portion of the 21-point checklist? What if it was a single person with no relatives? Would we still use the beneficiary portion? Yeah, everyone, Steve. Everyone. If you don't know how to use it, get a hold of Jeff, get a hold of myself, and we can help you custom tailor to that particular client. Okay? Because our script is designed for the 80% of people or 90% of people that have children. Charitable giving. So there's lots of ways that you can do that. So one is, if they're interested in that, is you can do a charitable remainder trust. The other way you can do that with the RMDs is last year it was put into permanency that allows distributions made directly from your qualified retirement account, like an IRA, to a charity. So you can actually give directly from your IRA to a charity instead of making a required distribution once they hit 70.5. So that's a big deal for people that are charitable and minded. That's something that most of them don't realize. The second family. Do we ever run into people that have a second family? So how do we take care of that? Well, you should at least, you don't necessarily need to do this, but you should at least know about Q-tips, right? Because Q-tips are an awesome way to do that. Now, whether you do this or not doesn't matter, but could you actually run the client through some scenarios because they didn't have a qualified terminable interest property trust, a Q-tip, because they didn't have that, it could cause all sorts of problems with their family. Because the 21-point checklist is about what? Having them identify problems and the consequences of the problems. You're not going to share the solution. You're not going to share the solutions to Q-tip, but you're going to go through some of the problems they could have based on their family situation where, you know, if their new wife has children, she inherits all the money, where's that money going? Where's it going? So if it's a second marriage, the second wife has children, where is that money going if they don't pay attention to what they're doing? It's going to go from the husband to the wife and from the wife to her children. Do you think that's what that meant the guy wanted? Because how much thought do the people really put into this stuff, guys? Not much. Without us. Do you see? These are things that, how many of our competition is thinking of these things? All they're thinking about is what? Hey, look at this great mutual fund. Hey, look at this awesome money manager I have. Both of which are what? Garbage. They're no better than anybody else's out there. So by doing this, what does this make us, guys? Better than all of our competition. Doing the right thing. A true advisor, right, Mark? Taking care of children, you can use a SLAT, trust with life insurance. So if their main focus, they're doing fine, they have a great pension, all they want to do is make sure that they take care of their children and their grandchildren, because what's going to happen to their pension once they die? The children and grandchildren going to get it? No. So this is using a SLAT trust would be a great way to, with life insurance, it'd be a great way to take care of the kids and the grandkids. So I'm not recommending doing all these things. I did very little estate planning for my clients. I'm not a huge fan of trusts unless what? There is an absolute need for it. Otherwise, I'm not going to be bothering with something like that. Ethical wills. We talked about this on this 8.8.16 call. If this does not ring a bell, this is actually one of the free gifts that we give people for doing the eye-to-eye. An ethical will, which means what? It's passing on your morals. It's passing on your beliefs. It's passing on what you think is important. Instead of just money, it's passing on what made you what you are today. So the 8.8.16 call, we have a whole call, 41-minute call, talking about. That's also something that we can provide for our clients. How many advisors are doing that? None. Digital will, which means what? How many of our clients are on Facebook? How many of our clients have digital assets? A lot. And how many more every day? More. So we need to help them set up a digital will to talk about what's going to happen to their Facebook, what's going to happen to all their digital things when they die, which you can find all sorts of resources online for that too. So these are all things that how much do we get paid to do these things, guys? Nothing. So why do we do them? It's about doing what's right. It's about being a true financial advisor, not an investment salesperson. If we're a financial advisor, then we should advise on their what? Finances. Do all of these things have to do with their finances? All with the exception of the digital and ethical will, they do. But they look at us as not only their financial advisor, but as their family advisor, which is why we also do the ethical will and the digital will. And this is a way for us to show that we care. It's a way that shows that we are doing things that we don't get paid for, which is before they actually become a client. Because here's the problem. they're not going to become a client until you show how much you care. You can't show how much you care until until they become a client. So there's a catch-22 there. This is our way out of that catch-22. It allows us to show how much we care before they come on as a client. Okay? So these are things that you're probably not going to use very often, but you should be what? Familiar with them. You should be familiar with them, okay? And then just every week I'm going to tell you what you missed on the 5Q breakdown. On the 5Q breakdown, what we did, we looked at a tape, and we looked at the umbrella section of the 21, and we just talked about what you're trying to accomplish and how you get them to say those things. So it was a little 8-minute tape on how you get people to say what you want them to say, or to discover what you want them to discover, or to learn what you want them to learn without telling them. Because any point worth making must be made by who, guys? Any point worth making must be made by who? Them. How many points should I make during a 21-point checklist? Very, very few. None would be perfection. And they're going to make 200 to 400 points during that, because I'm going to ask 200 to 400 questions for them to answer, for them to discover all the things they need to know during the 21-point checklist. Make sense? So, just as a reminder, when you've mastered the scripts and getting them to understand the motive, to say the motive on why their guy's eliminating or forgetting to talk about things, and you're doing your daily practice of the MIFT and GOTS, and can we add on to this, Trisha or Missy, the 2 5-minute moneymaker and the 5-minute weekly take? When you do those things, that's when you can bring on every client you want. Guys, it's the fact that I can make the claim that we bring on 100% of when you do the 21-point checklist right, you bring on 100% of the clients. Not because we have 50,000 recorded tapes that happened. What's the real reason we can make the claim that when you do the 21 right, 100% of people move their money to us? I want lots of answers on this. Not because we have the 50,000 recorded tapes. What is the logical reason we can make the claim that 100% of people move their money to us when we do the 21 right? Okay, you're all, good job, you guys. You're making me happy. So you're saying that if they tell you for an hour and a half to 2 hours, 200 to 400 times that they don't trust their guy, guess what? They leave their guy. That's how we know. So you have the goose that laid the golden egg. So what are you going to do during the month of December? I'm going to keep hammering you on this because you got to do it. So if you go to the 21-point checklist, I'll give you an example. We've redone, and I've talked about this, and I don't know how many of you have experienced it. Yeah, deep dive into the 20 run, right, Perry? So let's go to the big 3, power of attorney. I've broken that power of attorney down into 3 tutorials, making you do it the right way, making you work on number 1, crib note number 1, over and over and over and over again until you get it right. And then we do number 2 over and over and over again until you get that right. Then we go and learn, do 1 and 2 together. Then we learn 3 over and over and over. Then we do 1, 2, and 3 together. You do this, and guess what? 6 hours from now, you're going to have the power of attorney locked down. Then you go on to the same thing with the titling. We have the same tutorials. Go in and do this. Has anybody done these tutorials yet? Anybody? Nobody's giving. Bruce has. So Bruce, what was your experience with it? Not easy, right? It's not easy, but if you do it right, Bruce, does it lock in? So Jonathan, not easy, is it? But once you do it, is it locking it in for you? See, because here's the thing. Doing these scripts till you get them right, is that good enough, guys? No, you got to do them till you can't get them wrong. Okay? This is your way to do it. So I'm working my way through all of them. I think we have 10 different parts right now that we've got up with these tutorials. So we have the titling, the power of attorney, the beneficiaries, the big 3. We also have, if we go to the 21-point checklist meeting, We have at fees, if I can get down to fees, wherever they are. Fees. I have the same thing for variable annuities. Tutorials 1, 2, 3. Go back here. I have the same thing for fees. Have the same thing for managed money tutorial. So that's a one, instead of 3 parts, it's just 1 hour learning that money management one. I go back to the 20-point checklist. We also have it for property casualty and umbrella. Tutorial for umbrella, tutorial for property casualty. I also have that. And so I'm working my way through. So we also have it for the medical power of attorney and filing electronically. So those are the ones that we have done thus far. And they're working on updating the mastering the 21-point checklist manual, so you'll know which one of these to learn in the order of priority. So I'm working at getting these done, but you should be following right behind me and mastering these things as I go, okay?
And Mike, just to chime in there, so the manual has been updated and is online, so that new list, and I will update that front page that says all the new things that are on the website as well, hopefully by the end of today as well. So
where do they find that meeting? In the Getting Started or the
Getting
21?
Started. Yep,
Okay.
Getting Started toolbox, and it is underneath the 21
Right
light.
there.
There you go.
See, guys?
Perfect.
So I'll just bring that up for you, and you can see what we did here. So it's the way I told you guys to remember. If you got to memorize a 40-line poem, do you read it over and over and over and over and over to memorize it? No. You learn, if you want to memorize a 40-line poem, how many lines should you be working at any particular time, guys? Line by line. And you don't move on from that line, Perry, until what? You get it down. So here, we're saying that with the tutorial, it should only take you about 6 hours to learn the power of attorney. It should only take you about 6 hours to learn the titling. It'll take you probably 8 hours to learn, to master the beneficiaries. And then we have these in orders of weeks 2 and 3. You need to go through the tutorials, and again, I'm doing my darndest to get them done, and learn them in this particular order. Okay? This is the order we'd like you to learn them in. Make sense? So go back and you can download that manual, and I'm working my way through these as I'm able to, okay? So that's what you should spend December doing, mastering these things, remastering them. Why? Why would that be such an important thing, guys? Because if you have the 21-point checklist mastered, what can you do come January? Can mark it with how much trepidation? You can fly with it, right, Perry? With no trepidation. So master these things. Be doing your 5-minute moneymaker on Wednesdays. Be doing your 5-minute breakdown on Thursdays. Be doing your 15-minute drill, because what that is about is GOTS, not about scripts. These are scripts. These take hours to do. The GOTS you can learn at 15 minutes a day. Okay? So I know I'm giving you a lot of this stuff, but right now, but this is how, guys, spend a month, 8 hours a day doing this stuff. Spend a month, 8 hours a day doing this stuff, and guess what will magically happen in January? Your income's going to go through the roof. You have the goose that laid the golden egg. Now run with that egg, okay? So super. You guys have a very, very happy Thanksgiving. We all here give thanks for you guys being with us, and we really appreciate you. So even though I yell at you out of love, guys. I yell at you because you guys can be better, and I want your lives to get better and your family lives to get better. That's why I'm harping at you constantly, so you can get better and have a better life, okay? You guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you we'll talk to you on Monday. Thanks, everybody.